he's led a country for 30 years. That was, basically a third world
I
nation and
think
turned
that's
it into a,
enough.
no, it's time. No, it's,
Who does he think he is?
yeah. Well, they can't do it with, it's really,
Castro.
The PLO guy that's been
yeah.
in power for 40
Oh,
years?
Abbas, he had one election
Abbas,
and
yeah.
he's been in power for 40 years. Yeah. Look, yeah, he's got to wrap this thing up at some point. I think in his mind, he probably, I can't speak for him, but I think he probably feels October 7th happened on his watch and he has to now get them out of this last phase, which I think relative to what's going on in the Middle East is kind of happening. And then unfortunately his legacy will be really tarnished. The guy who turned the country into something truly extraordinary, but it did happen on his watch. It's as simple as that.
And it's so horrifying.
Yeah. Have you been since October 7th?
No.
I went down there. I went to the kibbutzes down there, and the crazy thing is when I was walking through kibbutz Be'eri, I think, if you go to, I've never been to Auschwitz or I've never been to a concentration camp. Have you been to any of them?
No, I just didn't think it would be fun.
On a vacation tour.
Well, yeah, they wouldn't let you have the wine at 10 a.m. over there, even though that's probably where you'd need it. But I remember, I've never been to Auschwitz, but when I was walking through Be'eri, I kept thinking, if you took a trip to Auschwitz, like, what Auschwitz was designed for. It was designed for mass extermination. You go to these kibbutzes and they're burned out and the bullet holes are everywhere and they have the markings, because a lot of the Palestinians that came in that day, they worked with these people. Because
I know.
These were all the
Those
peaceniks.
people were the peacenicks.
It's insane when you think about that.
No, it's not, because the
Well-
left always sacrifices the left.
Suicidal empathy, as
Yes.
my friend, as Gad Sad, who
Yeah.
as he always talks about. So they literally had people that were working with them that then marked on the doors, how many Jews live here, basically. Although they were killing everybody, they killed the Thai workers and everybody else,
And Arabs.
and Arabs, right? So they just slaughtered as many people as they could. But I just kept thinking, man, if I had walked through Auschwitz, you knew what it was set up for. It was set up for death, and then death occurred there, so it was kind of very direct. But to be in a place that was purely set up for life, the most humble, ridiculous, these houses, some of them were barely bigger than this room. I mean, they literally had the
Yeah.
tiniest kitchen, one bedroom. These were the most humble, peacenik, and it just simply didn't matter.
Vegetarians.
Half of them probably weren't even Zionists the way that these dingbats would
No,
would
they
use
were
the term.
pro two states.
Yeah, which not anymore.
Mm-mm.
Not anymore.
Well, it was a pretty huge wake-up call. A horrible, horrible wake-up call. And then, of course, October 8th was the horrible wake-up call, where all over, it was almost as if it was world organized in a way, and I'm being facetious. Did you know October 7th is Putin's birthday, and he celebrated in Moscow with Sinwar?
No, Sinwar wasn't there that day.
Yes, he was. On
Sinwar
Putin's-
was in Moscow.
with Putin lighting candles on October 7th.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's pretty well. He's long dead, and I think his brother died today. Did you see that? I
Yes.
think they killed his brother today. So
Yes, because it's
that's nuts, though. I didn't know that.
yeah, and it was almost like October 8th, all the protests around the world sprang up with all the same tents, all the same organization, all the same signs. How does a grassroots worldwide protest spring up like that?
And
Yeah,
where did
these
Antifa
people-
go?
Huh?
Where did Antifa go? They just
Yeah. Well, they
disappeared
just
one day.
unmasked themselves. It was BLM unmasked itself into Antifa. Antifa unmasked itself
That's
into
what I'm
Hamas.
saying.
And it's all paid. It's all paid for. It's
Yeah.
all of the Soros money. These people are. That's why everyone was
Which is
freaking
American
out.
tax money.
Right. So that's why everyone was freaking about USAID, because the more that Elon uncovered this stuff, the more we've realized we've been paying for our own destruction.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Legitimately, they take money from us, they push it to these NGOs, and the NGOs then put the foot soldiers out on the streets. And we're surprised.
And they also imported ISIS to America. And that's why I love when I see these right wingers or whatever they are, because they're not right. They sound just like Antifa,
Yeah.
but they say they're
Woke right.
Trumpers, they're woke right.
Yeah.
But, they sound just like Antifa. What? And, there they are talking about Israel 24/7, these new right folk. And they've got ISIS living right next door waiting for this summer.
Right. Well, it's
And
like
they don't even see it.
they don't even see. They either don't see it or they do see it, and they have some really strange motive. Then that it
Well,
would be
they're
hard-
getting paid.
Well, so Qatar is definitely paying a lot of these people, and I
Qatar's
know
paying
that's
for all of it.
Qatar has put more money into this country than anybody else. They've funded all the universities. You know, there's a lot of wacky stuff around
The Muslim Brotherhood.
Qatar. It is the Muslim Brotherhood, which of course is banned in the UAE. If we would just treat these organizations
Yes.
the way the UAE treats them, which hopefully Trump, he's over there right now, he's in Saudi Arabia. Maybe he'll be like,
He's in Qatar.
I should learn a little something. Oh, is he in Qatar today? So he was
Mhm.
in Saudi Arabia yesterday.
What do you think all that him going there?
I think it's basically pretty good. I think this guy has been so freaking good. He's been kind of the savior that we've been looking for. He's been directionally right about almost everything. That even if he's talking to some really bad people right
You
now,
have to do that.
Listen to this.
you make peace with bad people, and he's trying to think of things differently.
Do you remember when you were on Alex Jones and he had the blue methylphenylene or
Oh,
whatever?
yeah.
The blue meth, we call it.
Blue crack.
Yeah, that stuff is amazing. And
I can't believe it.
every time we find something, we're like, wow, what a cool product. Guess who jumps on it and does it in the safest, smartest, healthiest way?
TWC.
Our friend, I didn't even tell you yet. She already knew it was TWC. They're in the blue meth business.
This doctor-formulated nutraceutical is the first to combine methylene blue with urolithin A, creating a unique formula designed to optimize mitochondrial function, improve energy, and elevate cognitive performance. We all need that. Methylene blue crosses the blood-brain barrier to enhance memory, focus, and executive function by increasing the ATP production, the true fuel of our cells. It also works as a potent antioxidant
Yes.
and anti-inflammatory,
Yeah.
helping protect against aging and cellular damage.
Just good shit. That's all you need to know. You don't need all these fancy words.
If
It's
you're
good
looking
shit.
for a real mental and physical edge, and you know us old gals, we need that. Recharge delivers. Get 10% off plus free shipping. Head to twc.health/RB and use the code RB to feel the difference. Think clearer now. Recharge! Check this out. I
What do you
just
got?
got this from my spies.
Uh-oh.
The White House has officially disclosed President Trump's strategic demands during his historic meeting with Syria's al-Shara'a, full normalization with Israel under the framework of the Abrahamic Accords, immediate deportation of Palestinian foreign terrorist elements, coordinated operations with the United States to neutralize the resurgence of ISIS, assumption of full operation control over ISIS detention centers in northeastern Syria, constitutional guarantees ensuring the protection of religious minorities, particularly Christians, within the future political architecture of Syria. This marks a decisive shift from chaos to calculated order, ushering in new doctrine of regional stabilization through strength, deterrence, and uncompromising terms.
I mean, every word of that is perfect.
Isn't it perfect?
All these fucktards have to do is just accept that this tiny little sliver of land is going to have some Jews on it.
Yeah.
If you guys accept that, you will have peace. The Jews don't want an inch of anything else. They don't want to be in Syria. They don't want to be in Lebanon. They didn't want an inch of Gaza until you motherfuckers did this. So all the rest of you have to do. The problem that they've created is what they've done, the leaders of these Arab nations, what they've done is to avoid their people hating them, they just pointed at the Jews, right? So now they have a weird thing on their hands. They have the opportunity for peace right now, but now they're going to have to teach their people, boy, turns out if you're living in Egypt, you live in the suburbs of Cairo, it's not the problems that you have, the homelessness and the just decay of the whole place. It ain't because of the Jews. So there's going to be like a little work that has to be done there.
They're going to have to restructure their feudal system.
Yeah.
And they love feudalism and hate democracy. They love, vertical rule, and Israel is horizontal rule, which is democracy.
Yeah.
And they hate it because women are going to have rights. Period.
You can't have chicks just wandering around saying whatever they want.
No, because you know what?
Then you
I
get
sort
Roseanne.
of understand that. I totally understand that. Then you get Roseanne.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, that makes sense.
Or even worse, you get like, the pink pussy hat crowd.
Yeah.
Which I'm so happy to say now, when they had that pink pussy hat marches and all that shit, that was transphobic.
Ugh.
Think about it. They didn't have one penis on them
Not-
pussy hats.
That not one. Yeah,
You
exactly.
see where I'm
Ugh,
going?
that whole thing.
That was saying that women only have vaginas. There wasn't one
What?
penis on their head.
There was not one chick with a dick at one of
Right?
these things. You're right.
That's transphobism.
Someone,
right?
you know, a phobia is an irrational fear. That's why
Right.
I don't like the phrase transphobia or Islamophobia is the
Yeah.
worst one, because
Yeah.
you have a. It's not irrational to fear a set of ideas that would have you killed.
No.
A supremacist conquering death cult religion. Of course I fear it. Of course I
Yeah.
fucking fear it.
Yeah.
That's never going to stop and lies all the damn way and breaks every 10-year treaty in the 7th year. That's how Mohammed took over Medina. He made a peace treaty with the Jews in Medina, and they accepted it like Jews always do because they're idiots. And so in the 7th year of the peace contract, after everybody was disarmed, he killed them all and took over Medina.
Well, hopefully that's not what's happening right now.
That's my
right?
question.
Why wouldn't
Right?
it
That's
be?
the.
I
Right.
wouldn't trust nothing they signed.
Well, I don't think you trust. I don't. That's why I'm saying you got to give Trump some grace here, because clearly the world is changing. He's doing things.
No, I know what he's doing because he's going to say, because I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's 4D chess, I think. And he's going to go, yeah, you have the choice to build a beautiful city and I listened to his speech, an incredible economy, and have, riches and wonders for your people. Or, bye-bye. And then I was thinking Qatar, it's cool because we have a base there.
Yeah.
So he's like, hey, maybe we won't protect you. Maybe if you don't do right. Because Trump, above all else, he's supposed to stand for justice and righteousness.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. I like that all those deals are hinged on you do the right thing,
Right.
or you're going into other place you don't really want to go.
Isn't it crazy? Like, it's just so freaking obvious as policy. He's not asking much. He's not saying, I have to rule you. He's just saying, like, do some basic shit. Let go a little bit of the hate. Let us invest. Let you guys invest in us. And we could reframe the entire world. Like, it's so obvious and simple that that's the genius of Trump. Everybody
Yeah.
else, no, let's just redraw maps and let's move these people here and these people here and do all these crazy things. And it's like, he's just saying, get on board, because if you don't, because you're right about Qatar. Qatar is nothing. It's a tiny, absurd nothing that everyone always says it's a glorified gas station. All they've got is gas, right?
Yeah.
So that's what's given them the money to then, take over our universities. But without our base, which I think has like 20,000 U.S. soldiers on it, they're gone tomorrow.
That's
So
right.
he's using leverage. I mean, I think he wrote a book about it.
And we have all the gas in the damn world right here.
We'd be just fine.
Look at how they've set us up, though. Look at how, the king is China on the chessboard. I mean, they've set us up for destruction
Yeah.
in every way. The CCP runs all of them. It runs Iran. It runs it all.
Well, the fact that they basically this week were like, okay, we'll send less fentanyl into your country. Doesn't that tell you everything you need to know? Like,
Yeah.
they've been it's basically a kind of slow motion killing that they've been doing to us, on top of the fact that they own all our debt. And that one day in a mafia movie, when the guy comes for the debt, unless you have a bigger gun, you're fucked. So China's the other part of this that nobody knows what to make of.
Well, I think Trump did a good thing over there because I have friends over there involved in that kind of thing. Well, they went over there and kind of collapsed they drove up inflation and kind of collapsed their whole thing. So China's been forced to buy back America's debt,
Are you
which
saying
is
are you saying
great.
Are you saying we don't need all the Chinese shit we're buying on Amazon every day? All that cheap garbage? Are you saying
Well, I
this,
won't go
Are
that
you saying
far.
this
I gotta hide
$20
this whole
jacket
thing.
that I got?
This house
Put
is
everything
full
in-
of
Chinese crap.
Chinese
Yeah,
crap.
so
I
you're
beg
actually
your
the
pardon.
queen on the chessboard with your Amazon purchases.
Well, they
I
have us
might be in
addicted to
control.
cheap shit, right? I mean, it's as simple as that. You
But
know, you
some
can
of
go
it's
on there.
so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you see,